Live now because someone's asking,
Good
hey,
evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Got Writer's Block Live. We have an amazing guest here today, Jessica Peggs, who's an operations and automation manager. Of course, we had to bring Mila back on to help with the community engagement. And I am one of your co hosts, Jessica, the founder of Got Writer's Block. So, as you know, tonight we're going to be talking about why your marketing and business campaigns are leaking money. Basically, why are you losing money? Maybe you're not tracking your analytics. Maybe you are tracking, but you don't know what you're tracking, so you just have numbers. Maybe you're going after the wrong metrics. Maybe there's some low hanging fruit that you're not even addressing. So, Jessica is here to let us know what this is all about and how to really tap into these money leaks. So, everyone, let's welcome Jessica Peg. Everyone, say hi in the chat. Welcome,
Hi, everyone.
Jessica.
Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. When we were talking about this idea for this live, there are so many things we could talk about. So we're going to do our best to keep it short and sweet in the 20 minutes. But I think there's just so many different topics, and I think we can go in so many different directions today. So excited to start and share kind of the common things that I see with businesses when I work with them.
Amazing. And this is perfect time of year. LinkedIn user says, "Hi. Hello there. Welcome." So everyone, as Jessica's talking, we also want you to think about if you have this money leak because many of you will, and that's why you're here. So yeah, Jessica, tell us a little bit more about yourself, how you got into this money leaking business operations.
Yeah, so my journey was very long, and I'm going to keep it very short because it's such a long story. So, long story short, as they say, I used to work in corporate. I worked in nonprofit for a while. Then I worked at a bank for a number of years. And then I realized that I actually don't like working for other people. And I started my own business. And I started out in health coaching, health and life coach. Then I became kind of like a personal trainer and doing that sort of thing. And then through that, realized I am really good at organizing the business and I love doing it. And I actually don't like doing this and posting to Instagram and sharing content. And I really loved like building the businesses. And through doing that, a lot of my colleagues in the coaching world, I was doing stuff for them like, oh, I can set up your automation. Oh, I can help you with your SOPs. And they were like, can we pay you? And I was like, yeah, you can definitely pay me. And now that's what I do exclusively. So it kind of evolved naturally and I love it.
Oh, that's amazing, Jessica. And I remember, so you used to help a lot of coaches with their Facebook groups, or you probably still do, but that's kind of how you got started. And they would be like, how do I even automate like my Facebook to go to my email, right?
Yes. Yeah. A lot of like, or okay, someone I was told I need a lead magnet and I need to like have an opt-in, but like I don't know, I don't know what that means, or B, like how do I connect that to an email list? And like once I have their email, then what do I do? Like I think we try to piece together so many things as business owners and entrepreneurs. You're trying to like follow the trend. And then you're like, I don't know how this trend applies to me, or I don't know how to execute. I have this great idea, but like, how do I make it be real? And that's where I come in.
Exactly. The execution's so hard. Like the coaches and the business owners, they have the amazing idea. They're visionaries, but they don't know how to expand. Okay, I
Yeah.
have it. Like now what? How do I
Now
connect it
what?
all?
Yeah. And that's something I talk about lots when I'm first meeting with someone to see if we're a good fit to work together is I really consider myself and my team the bridge. So you're the visionary with the big idea and your team is like, give us direction. And you're like, I don't really know how. So I come in as the bridge. I take your big idea and I can see all of the steps and I can see the end before you can see the beginning. Before you can see step one, I can already visualize what it should be and how it's going to end. And then I help communicate that in a clear way to your team so that they're not wondering what's going on and you're not emailing them going, is this done yet? Did you do this? And then you feel like you're managing all the things. You're like, oh, I could just do it myself. And I know you've all said that.
Yeah. Mila,
Yeah.
do you feel that?
yeah, I really do. And I think a lot of the time it's also about time management as well.
Mhm.
I think they don't always have the time to be thinking about this stuff. And so
No.
it's really great to have someone like Jess who can kind of help you organize all of your thoughts.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
things,
Yeah.
right?
Everyone needs you, Jessica, because the
I
creative
think so.
visionaries, we have great ideas, but then
Then
what
what?
next?
Yeah.
And what ideas are working? What if we're not tracking? Which many aren't, which we're gonna get into, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to get into it.
Okay, so I know you brought along some ideas to show everyone. So why don't you share
Yes.
your screen?
Okay. Let's see if I can figure out, because I have two monitors. Share you. Ta-da! Can you see my slide?
Yes.
There we go. So the first one, we've kind of touched on this already, is poor analytics tracking. And this can be multiple different things. So the biggest thing that I find when I start working with a business, one of my questions is, tell me about what you're tracking. And I get lots of different answers, but the biggest one, I know everyone tracks revenue. We all know where we are. Did we make money or did we lose money? If you are a business owner or entrepreneur, you can answer that. That's not an issue. The issue, the money leak, comes when it's like, what else though? Where is money falling off the table that you're not paying attention to because you're so focused on the revenue? And this comes from, is the audience engaged? Are they opening the emails? Are they reading the emails? Are they engaging with your posts? Are they starting to know, like, and trust you? Because you can have a giant list and have no sales, which, by the way, I've experienced in my early days as a business owner. I paid for the Facebook ads. I'm like, I'm losing money every month, but I have this huge list, but I wasn't engaging with them properly. And I didn't know then what I know now, which is how to figure out where the gap is.
Mhm.
So you've got to track your metrics from prospect to client. So if you're running an ad or if you're doing like organic growth or whatever you're doing, are they engaging at point A? So the ad or the post or the whatever. And if the answer is yes, then it's, what did you want them to do next? And I know with copywriting, you're all about the call to action. Like, what are they supposed to do next? Do they know? And if they get to the next step, did they do the next call to action? Did they opt in? Did they give you their email? Like, what are they doing there? And then the next step is like, did they do that thing? Then what? But you can figure out where they fell off the wagon, and then you know how to correct it.
That's a really good point, because do you feel from clients that you work with that they're not doing this?
Yeah. In short, yeah. I mean, a lot of owners, we talked about this before, they'll track like open rates and click-through rates, but the biggest question I get is, are those good though? Like, are my open rates good? And I can't answer that. Like, you have to answer that for yourself based on your ideal client. You know, how do you know what types of emails, for we're going to stick on emails, what types of emails will your ideal client want to read? Like, do they want to read a really long email, or do they want to read like 4 sentences? Because that's going to change how you communicate with them, right?
I just wrote this in chat. So how you engage with your audience depends on how they engage with you. So even then, and this is something that you're going to be talking about real soon, you have to figure out what types of emails are going to work depending on the segments of your audience that you're trying to reach. So
yes,
building on those touch points.
Yeah, absolutely. And the segments is so huge. And I think that we get a lot of people who are trying to segment their emails get confused on like, what is a segment? Like, what does that mean? And it can mean a lot of different things depending on who you ask. But to me, the segment is all about like grouping people that are similar together. So grouping together the people that opted in, but then like didn't take your lowest entry point offer. Like, that's a segment. Then you've got like your segment of people who like booked a call with you, but didn't buy. Then there's a segment of people who booked a call and did buy. And then, right, like you can group them like that because you have to speak to each of them differently, which
Mm-hmm.
right? And that's where we start to have a money leak because you're just sending mass emails to the whole list. It's like master list, check mark, send it out. Well, everyone in there wants to hear something different from you.
And it's not always going to be relevant to everybody. You can't just.
That's the point. Yes.
Yeah. Right? Like, how often do I hear from copywriters and experts in marketing? Because I am neither, but it's all about like one person. You're talking to one person and you're giving them one action. And that I see often is a really hard thing for business owner to do because they have so much they want to tell them. So it's like, blah, here's all the things. And then people are overwhelmed. They don't read, they don't engage, they unsubscribe.
Yeah, and then they realize like you're not really paying attention to them. Like, oh, well, I already did the thing that you're, talking about. Like, why are you sending this again?
Yeah,
So
that's a really good point. Especially, as the consumer, you don't want to hear the same thing each time because you're like, I saw that yesterday. Like, talk to me specifically.
Yes. So this kind of goes into the next one, which is losing track of your leads. So again, like the segments that you're forgetting about, they already took the action. Like, now what do you want them to do? You can't keep saying, book a call, book a call, book a call. They're like, I booked a call. Like, leave me alone. What else can I do? They need something else. And that's where like segmenting is so important. And if we're not addressing that, they're unsubscribing and you're losing money from that.
Okay, Jessica, we have a question. Can you send a mass email to share events that everyone should know about, then segment by people who do or don't attend these events and don't sign up for your memberships?
Yes, I love that. You answered your own question. Absolutely.
Yeah,
like
that's how you start, right?
Yes. That is like exactly what you should be doing is making sure that the email that you're using, whatever platform you're on, is allowing you to figure out who clicked on what. And then ideally, it's automatically adding tags to those people, or even better, it's automatically putting them into the next step. So I recommend ActiveCampaign. That's what the majority of my clients use. And I love setting up automations like this. Like, oh, come to my info session on blah, blah, blah. They click it. Now they're in a different automation. It moves them so that they're getting specifics about the info session. Unless they already booked a spot, then they're getting emails about how amazing the info session is going to be. Like, so you can really simply set up these automations if you have a really strong understanding of your clients and where they're going. So you need kind of like a map.
Yes, and you can help them build the journey map, right? Customer journey map.
Yeah. And that's, I mean, I hate saying this, but it's so important. It's like you need an ICA. You need to know who your ideal client avatar is, and you have to like know them, like know who they are. You cannot be vague, like, oh, well, they're like moms and they're in their mid-30s. No, they're like, my avatar, her name's Rebecca. She has Starbucks every morning after she drops off the kids. She's like wearing her leggings. She's got like a nice cozy sweater. She's not wearing any makeup. She only reads emails when she's drinking her coffee. She sits in her car for 10 minutes before she goes in the house. Like, you need to know her. So that's going to dictate the time of day you send the emails. Well, she only reads her emails when she's drinking her coffee. You've got like a 15-minute window after drop off, right? Like, so just really, you have to really know those things about your clients so that you can speak to them directly.
Exactly. And know like their schedule, like what times you can reach out to them and with what,
Yeah. And like, am I going to send them a bunch of Christmas deals on Christmas Day? No, because they're not opening them because they have children and they're opening presents and it's chaos and their mother-in-law's coming over and they have to make a chicken. And you need to get in their head and be like, are they going to be like, oh, let me just check this.
Oh no. Where did she go?
Email real quick.
Oh, no, she's there.
There we go.
Here.
Yay. Exactly.
Oh,
they're busy on Christmas Day. So you need to get them before because they're actually proactive and they're not last minute.
They're not last minute, right? So you have to really think about who are you talking to exactly, and then only talk to them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Knowing their routine and what they celebrate even. Maybe they don't
Yeah.
celebrate Christmas,
Maybe
right?
they
Yeah.
don't celebrate Christmas. Yeah.
Orthodox Christmas. So
Yes, right? Like you have to really be clear on like who are these people that you want to buy from you. And this is where like you can get really niche. Cool. I'm not talking about niche. I'm talking about the person who is buying your product or your service. That's different from your niche. Your niche is like,
Demographics.
yes, right? So you need to really understand like who are you talking to and when and why. And do they care? Like,
Do they care?
do they care? I'm going to move us along because we're already almost at our 20-minute mark.
Yeah, no problem.
Billing is the other thing. I am not kidding about billing. If you are someone who bills hourly, or even if you are on retainer, you need to properly track your hours. Okay. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot write your hours down on a Post-it note. You cannot write your hours down in a notebook or like, I'll just put it on a note in my phone. Like, no, you need to take this seriously. This is your livelihood. Your livelihood is more important than a Post-it note. And like,
we're putting that up.
I cannot.
No writing hours down on Post-it notes. You will lose money.
You will lose money. Literally, your Post-it note. I have 2 kids. I have 2 dogs. Someone's going to eat this. It could be dogs. Could be a kid. I don't know. It's gone. Right? So you need to track your hours properly. One of the biggest things that I do with clients is we set up what I call a project management tool. I don't call it that. That's what it's called. Project management tool. And what this does is it allows you to put all your projects. So if you have clients, you can put them in there. If you're doing launches, that's where that's the project. It goes in, and then you can, most of them, good ones, have hours tracking. So you and your team can have different billable hours. You can track your time on a project, and then it's all in one place. So if your client wants something itemized, you can literally give them like, at 7:02, I started this, and at 7:58, I was done. Like, it's super concise. And I think this is important for people on retainer because it helps you avoid scope creep, which is a money leak. And you don't think of it when you're on retainer because they're like, oh, they pay me a flat rate monthly. I don't have to track my hours. Well, that's great. But if you thought you were going to work 5 hours a week and all of a sudden you're working 6, and then you're working 7, and then you're working 8, and then all of a sudden you're like, why am I always working for this client? Like, what is going on? You haven't been tracking your hours, and you've just been giving them free hours because you weren't paying attention. So please track your hours. Please, I'm begging.
And it will also help you figure out your packages.
Yes.
Because I know scope creep is huge, like especially if you're working hourly, like Jessica's saying, you can decide that, okay, this is like what keeps coming up as extra hours. Maybe I will tell my new clients that the new package starts at 20 hours, not 5 hours, right?
Yes, exactly. And you might find, like, going back to packages, so if you're new, if you're just starting out, you and you're like, okay, I want packages of hours, or like, I'm going to be on retainer and they can get these deliverables every month or whatever it's going to be. You kind of like have to guess how many hours it's going to take you to do something to like figure out your retainer. So you just guess, and that's fine. We all start out, when you're an entrepreneur, half your life is guessing what's going to work. So that's fine. You can guess, but then you track your hours and you adjust. Because you might have thought, oh, this is going to take me like 3 hours to do, and then it actually took 4, or the other way. Or you're like, wow, this is super valuable. As I'm doing this with more and more clients, they like value me so much, and I underestimated my value. And maybe you can increase your hourly rate for that package.
Underestimating your value and then increasing to matching it.
Yes. And we all start out underestimating our value until we get in there and you build the confidence and you see the impact you have. And then you can be like, oh yeah, like I need to charge more for this. And that's when you've made it. When you can be like, I'm raising my prices, then that's when you're like next level. Because it like, you have to have the right mindset. I'm going to go on a tangent for just a second. You have to have the right mindset to increase your prices, because if you increase your price, but subconsciously you're thinking like, will people pay this? Like, are my current clients going to freak out? Like, oh, I'm nervous about this price change. Like, don't change your prices, because that belief in your subconscious will sabotage you. So like, if you're like nervous about it and you're questioning, like, just press pause on price increase until you're like, I am worth this amount. And then it's time to raise your prices.
Or you can start with little increases too.
Yeah.
You don't have to like 10x your pricing. You can increase it with your confidence.
Yes, absolutely. And then this is my biggest thing: running your business without documenting. Dun dun
This
dun.
is so many businesses. You even see this in corporate and large businesses. You think large businesses are organized? They have great branding, but documentation is always lacking because it moves so fast.
Yes. You need, like, these are the two big questions. How do you train and onboard people? And what happens if you take time off? Those two questions will tell you if you have documented processes. So if you are like terrified to hire someone because you're like, I don't know, like, how would I teach them all the things that I need to do? Like, there's so many things and they'll take them so long to learn it. Like, that you don't have it documented. And if you're like, how do I take time off? If I'm not working, nobody's working, like, I can't make sales while I'm not at work, then you don't have your things documented. Because really, documentation allows anyone to step in, literally read a how-to guide. At the bank I used to work at, they were called job aids. You'd read your job aid and anyone could do that job because it was in the job aid. And that is what you want for your business, because it reduces your time in training, which again is a money leak. If you hire a VA, you've hired your first VA, you don't know what the heck you're going to have them do. You're just leaking money every minute that they're sitting there watching you try to explain what to do. That's money. Whatever you charge hourly, that's gone. Whatever they charge hourly, that's gone. Like, if you are organized and streamlined and you're like, when I hire someone, I do A, B, C, and D. Here's the guide, click here, here's the template. Like, a competent VA can just go through and read the directions, click the links, and do the job with minimal support from you, minimal downtime, therefore saving money.
Exactly. Oh, perfect. One of our guests is saying screenshots and videos in a step-by-step guide. Exactly.
Yes. And the biggest thing, I really want to say this about videos. Videos are cool. I love a good video tutorial. You still have to write it down. It has to be written, because if you have a video, let's say it's a 20-minute process, you do a video, you're like, great, I've got this 20-minute process. It's all concise in this video. You hire someone, they watch the video, they're like, okay, I think I got it. They took 20 minutes to watch the video. Then now they're doing the thing and they're like, oh shoot, what do I do at this point? They can't just scroll down the Word doc to be like, there's the part I'm at. Oh, I need to click here. Now they've got to go back to the video. They put it on like 2 times speed. You're like, they're trying to get to the part and they're like, oh, there it is. And they like, right. So they're just spending time back and forth in the video. So the video should be supporting the written product. And I love screenshots in the written step-by-step. If it's anything that's like, you have to click on here and then these 3 dots will show up. And then you have to like scroll down to that needs a picture so that you can just be like, find this button and they can see how it goes.
Yeah, make it so you're able to navigate. Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. So those are the 4 biggest money leaks that I see often.
Okay. And for everyone here in the chat, Michelle, yourself included, what do you think for your business or even a business you're working with, their money leak is?
Oh, yeah.
Tell
that's
us
a good
in the
question.
chat. We want to know.
Yeah, I would love to know that. And I will tell you, I'm working with a couple different businesses right now. And I have one business that is a big earner, like they're working on 50K months right now. So like they're doing really well. And a money leak that they have is they have nothing documented. Like, going back to your point, Jessica, is like, you can see these businesses that are big, like successful businesses. They've got it, from the outside, you're like, what a well-oiled machine. Like, I want that for my business.
Exactly.
Well, I tell you, I could call it looking in the junk drawer when I start working for them. I'm like, don't get embarrassed, but it's like, I'm going to be rummaging through your stuff. I'm going to be looking through your like digital junk drawers. And the things I find in there, I'm like, I don't know how you guys made it this far. Like, you can get a long way with some tape and bubble gum. That's what I've learned. So if you don't have these things in place, like, don't freak out. You're okay. You can go really far, but these are really great ways to get ahead of it. Not tracking analytics on their website. Oh my gosh. Yes, that ties into like the email analytics, everything.
Yeah.
Like, the spreadsheets that I have for tracking analytics for my businesses are like, they freak out the business owners because there's a lot of tabs, because I track everything. And I think that's so important to do. Like, we're tracking sales calls, we're tracking opt-in rates, we're tracking like website. How are they going from this page to this page to this page? When do they drop off? Like, there's so much information that's at your fingertips. But if you don't know what to do with it, you don't track it. You don't pay attention to it.
Exactly. So, Michelle, just reach out to Jessica and she may have some solutions for you to. Here, I'm just going to put it in. Mila's going to put in her information in the chat. Just reach out to her because she can definitely help you with your website, because you want to know who's coming, right? And you want to know, actually, are people visiting it? You may think you have a lot of traffic, you may think you have none, but if Jessica helps you set up analytics, then it can, you at least know the situation.
And sometimes it goes to like, why do they need to come to your website? I'll give you why I say that. So I think I talked to you about this, Jessica, a few weeks ago, but basically I think of your like Instagram, for example. For me, Instagram is like a business card. It's like, you can just kind of leave them laying around. Anyone finds them, they're like, oh, this is an interesting business. Then they're like, oh, maybe I'll drive past there. That's the website. That's like when you drive past a store, you're like walking down the sidewalk and you're like peeking in the windows. That's your website. People are just like looking around, seeing what you're about. Not a lot of people take a specific action if they're just like driving by, right? But the drive-by makes them go, oh, that's interesting. I'll come back to that. And then when the whatever problem you solve comes up, they're like, didn't I drive past a store that had that? Then they go to your website. Then they opt into the newsletter. Like, that's where like the magic happens, is when they remember your store, i.e. your website, because the problem that they have just came up. So I really think of like Instagram as the business card. The website is your brick and mortar. And then like when they take action, that's when they like consciously are like, I'm going to go to that store and I'm going to buy something today. Like, I'm going to go in the door. I'm going to see what they're really about. That's like booking the call.
Absolutely. And that's also why it's important to stay top of mind, because like 90% of buyers aren't ready for your solution. But if you have them on email, you have them on social media, and you just keep popping up, even if you don't respond to their emails or you're just like, what is this? You'll remember that Jessica Peg messages me like 3 times a week about analytics. And finally you'll be like, yeah, maybe I should set that up. Maybe she has,
or you'll be like, maybe I should open that email.
Because they in a way like contributed to a solution, right?
Exactly.
You notice that they're engaging, so you're thinking, okay, what can I do with this, and get them to come back.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah. So there's just so many parts. I mean, we didn't even get to, I'm like, I'll give you a sneak peek of this slide for those of you who are still alive, but like, this is kind of the stuff that I go through with businesses, is like your administration, your finances, your team management, your communications, your delivery systems. Hello, that's huge. And of course, your sales. So, and this isn't even all of it. This is just what I could fit on one page. So there's a lot that happens behind the scenes of a business that we as business owners forget about sometimes. And, you know, you come up with these ideas and you do the thing, but it never gets documented, or like it falls out of your mind. You don't take action on that big idea that you had because it was overwhelming to do it. And that's really why I'm here. I just love to take the visionary and make the things real. Like, it's fun to like have a big idea, but it's even more fun to accomplish the big idea.
Exactly. And make money and not be losing money because you have things on sticky notes or not documented, or you can never take a vacation.
Yeah. Like, don't you want to go on vacation and not worry about your business
And
like,
not check your phone or try to
check
figure
your
out
phone.
Wi-Fi on a resort or
Yeah.
how to not get your laptop in the pool.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, thank you.
Or having enough data to get you by.
Yeah. Not have to pay for data. No problem.
No problem. Not a worry for this girl. So
Okay,
yeah,
last thing.
Yes.
Michelle is saying people also want to be educated, not sold to. This is true. This is why you can educate them about solutions. So she said, I picked certain seed companies over others because my favorite companies gave out free educational content.
Very cool. Yes.
So yeah, people fall in love with your brand and what
Yeah.
you give out to. That's a whole other discussion.
That's a whole other thing. We will not go down that road right now.
Ideas
But
and
yeah,
items
so
they keep.
Jessica, pardon, go ahead, Mila.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Oh, I think Jess might
Okay.
have cut off again.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, amazing. So just a big recap. So you need to make sure that you have your procedures written down. You want to make sure your finances are being tracked properly so you can get paid. You want to make sure your analytics are tracked, billing, documentation, and
That's those 4. Documentation,
Perfect.
billing, leads, and analytics.
And this is very common. Remember that most business owners and large companies don't have this all together. They have great branding, but internally,
Yeah. And,
Mess.
lots of big companies have multiple operations managers hired full time to specifically stay on top of this stuff. So,
Yeah.
it's not your zone of genius, it's mine. It's like you want people to hire you for the expert knowledge that you have. And that's why I exist, because I have expert knowledge that you don't have the desire to learn, the time to learn. It's not your thing. Let it go.
Exactly. Okay, we just put in the chat. Jessica is giving away 101 ways to stay organized basically in your business.
Yeah. So there's over 100 ways on that list that an operations manager could help your business. I made the list. It is not specific to what I do, but there are a number of different types of operations managers that exist, and they all have different types of expertise. So I really recommend looking through this list and seeing, there'll be things that pop out at you that you're like, oh my God, someone can do that. Then that's who you need to hire. To take the pressure off, because it's what they do and it's what they love and they're good at it.
Absolutely. Okay, Jessica, we're so happy that you came on and showed everyone how to get rid of their money leaks, because who doesn't want to make more money with what they're already doing, right?
Exactly.
And not being
Okay, and Mila, thank you again for helping us with the chat and keeping it in control.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me on again.
Yes. Okay, everyone, thank
you.
you. And be sure to check out Jessica's guide, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone.